All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down 6 absolute killer exercises that are specifically designed to build a bigger, taller, more defined biceps peak. But first, let me ask you something. Think about your last arm day. Are the bicep curls you're doing actually working? Are you seeing the results you want? It's a serious question, because not every curl is going to get you that peak. And see, that's the whole point, isn't it? Building impressive arms isn't just about mindlessly lifting a weight up and down. It's about curling smart. It's all about the technique, the angle, and picking the right tool for the job to trigger some real growth. So let's dive into those details. We're about to look at what separates a kind of meh arm day from one that truly starts chiseling out that impressive peak. First things first, we have to build a solid foundation. These first 2 exercises are designed to do just that. We're targeting the 2 things that really make an arm look powerful, the actual height of the bicep and the overall thickness that gives it that 3D look. Okay, first up on the list, the incline dumbbell curl. By laying back on that incline bench, you're putting your biceps in a really unique pre-stretched position. It's a game changer for isolation. And the magic here is what it targets, the long head of the bicep. Now, you need to remember that the long head is the part of the muscle that literally creates the height, the peak that everyone's chasing. This exercise puts a deep stretch on it and forces it to do all the work. So please, listen to this tip. That deep stretch you feel at the very bottom of the movement, that's not something to rush through. That is a massive trigger for growth. So control the weight on the way down, feel that stretch, and you'll be telling that muscle it has no choice but to grow back bigger and stronger. All right, moving on to our second foundational exercise, the cable rope hammer curl. Now, this one's interesting. It's less about building the peak itself and more about building the muscle that actually pushes the peak up from underneath. What we're hitting here is the brachialis. It's a muscle that sits right under your bicep. Building this muscle is kind of the secret weapon for adding serious width and density to your arm. When the brachialis gets bigger, it pushes the bicep up, making the whole arm look way more impressive. Now, to make sure you're actually hitting that brachialis, you have to do this right. Lock your elbows into your sides and keep them there. The second they start drifting forward, you're letting your shoulders take over. Keep it strict and let that muscle do the work. Okay, so our foundation is set. Now, it's time for the power phase. These next couple of exercises are all about one thing, packing on overall mass and creating the kind of muscle-building tension that forces your biceps to get bigger. You knew this one was coming, the classic mass builder, the easy barbell curl. That angled grip on the easy bar is just so much more comfortable for most people's wrists, which means you can stop worrying about joint pain and start focusing on moving some serious weight with good, clean form. Look, the goal here is simple, but it is brutally effective. We're building overall bicep mass and raw strength. This is the heavy hitter in your routine. This is the one that's really responsible for packing on that size. And listen up, because this is where so many people go wrong. The second you start using your back and swaying to get the weight up, you're taking the tension right off the biceps. Stay strict. If that means you have to lower the weight, then lower the weight. Pure bicep tension is what builds muscle, not momentum. Next up, we're talking about a different kind of power with the cable curl. The real magic of using a cable is that it provides a constant, non-stop pull on the muscle through the entire rep. Think about it. With dumbbells, the tension can kind of drop off at the top or the bottom. But with a cable, man, that tension is on from the second you start the rep to the absolute peak of the contraction. There's no rest, which is an incredible stimulus for growth. And because of that, you gotta fight the urge to go super heavy here. This exercise isn't about momentum. It's all about control. Go a little lighter, slow down your reps, and I promise you, that constant tension is going to deliver a pump and a burn like you've never felt. All right, we've built the foundation. We've packed on the mass. Now it's time to refine. It's time to carve out the details. These last 2 exercises are our finishers, designed for one thing, an insane peak contraction and total isolation. Okay, this one might look a little bit like you're hitting a front double bicep pose, and honestly, that's exactly the point. The overhead cable curl puts your bicep in a fully shortened position, which allows for an incredibly intense squeeze at the top. What this does is it hones in on the inner head of the bicep, and it's all about getting the most intense peak contraction possible. If the other exercises built the mountain, think of this one as carving the super sharp peak right on top. But here's the trick to making it work. Your upper arm has to stay locked in place, totally stationary and parallel to the floor. The only thing moving is your forearm, curling in towards your head. You have to completely isolate the bicep. And for our final exercise, we're bringing out the ultimate isolation tool, the machine preacher curl. This movement is basically designed to be cheat-proof. There's nowhere to hide. By bracing your upper arms against that pad, you completely take your shoulders and your back out of the equation. There's no momentum possible. This forces the lower part of your biceps to handle every ounce of the weight through a full, perfect range of motion. And because you can't cheat, the whole focus shifts to time under tension. You want to pause for a second at the top and really squeeze, then control the weight all the way down until you feel a deep stretch. This is how you finish the muscle off and make sure every last fiber has been worked. And there you have it, folks. We've gone from building our foundation for length and thickness to using power moves for pure mass, all the way to these surgical finishers for peak contraction and isolation. So this right here, this is your complete blueprint. It's a well-rounded routine that attacks the biceps from every single angle, hitting every attribute you want, that peak, the thickness, the overall mass, and that sharp definition. So the only question left is for you. Which one of these are you most excited to try? Think about your current routine, figure out what might be missing, and plug one of these killer exercises in on your next arm day to start building that bigger bicep peak.